I've attempted 75 hard twice. I failed my first time and I succeeded my second time. Day 1, day 75. So yeah, as you can see, big difference. Honestly, for me, I think that 75 hard was absolutely life-changing. This video is going to be a guide of everything that you'll need to know start to finish about this challenge. If you're new to hear about 75 hard or want to know what the 75 hard challenge is, it's like a self-discipline workout challenge. More so like a self-discipline challenge though. It consists of 6 different tasks that you have to complete daily for 75 days straight. And so if you mess up on even just one of those tasks, then you have to start back over from 0. So you have to start back from the beginning. Even if you're on day 74 and you forget one of the tasks, you have to start back from 0. It's really to test your accountability. You know, I was first getting into it a couple years back. Now I feel like it kind of exploded in like popularity. A lot of people try to do it. Real quick, I just want to go over what the actual tasks are because I have them here on the app. I'm going to just read out exactly what they are. So first task is we have 2 45-minute workouts. One of those workouts has to be outside. The reason why it has to be outside is it's meant to teach you like that conditions aren't always going to be perfect. I live in LA, so it's a lot easier for me to just go outside and get a workout in. I know there's people probably watching this that are in like Minnesota or like Massachusetts and have to, you know, deal with snow and all that. I'm sorry, that sucks. But you know, you could always do shoveling or like, I think shoveling snow would probably work, or like skiing. But yeah, so task 1, 2 45-minute workouts. One of them has to be outside. The next task is doing a daily progress photo. So we'll do a daily progress photo shirtless in the mirror. It's just track your progress day by day, and you know, over time you'll eventually see results. Next task is reading 10 pages of a non-fiction book. Non-fiction, not fiction. So, and the next one is drinking a gallon of water. So full gallon of water, 120 fluid ounces, however you get it done, gallon of water. Next is follow a diet. So that could be anything. You kind of pick your own diet throughout this whole thing. So my advice would be something that you can actually stick to. So follow your own diet. And then the last one is no cheat meals and no alcohol. I don't think they put it in here. I'm assuming no drugs either, but it doesn't say it on the app. It just says no cheat meals and no alcohol. Yeah, I think most people who do this probably aren't really doing any drugs. I would say probably the only drug is coffee that you could probably do. And then nicotine. I didn't do nicotine. I don't know. I think maybe some people do, but it doesn't say it in here. But I feel like, you know, if you're gonna do this, you might as well go all the way. So yeah. So that's everything that you need to know as far as all the tasks. So those are all the different tasks. So pretty much every day you have to get all of those tasks done. And if you miss just one of them, let's say you miss, you know, to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, then you have to start back from 0. So yeah, so you really need to make sure you're on the ball and you're getting all your tasks done. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go over each of those tasks and details that helped me through the time I did 75 hard and how I was successful with it, and so it'll help you. And at the end I'm gonna have some pro tips for you. Alright, so let's just hop right into it. So for the 2 45-minute workouts, so like I'll try to do cardio and weights. Yeah, it really just depends. The workout, you kind of make it your own. My advice for the workouts is to make them fun. Obviously, you know, most people are working a 9 to 5. You don't really have time to do a lot of stuff or like really interesting activities, but like even a 45-minute walk counts for your outdoor workout. And honestly, like people overlook how good it is for you to do a walk like that in itself. I would track my walks with my Whoop and I would burn like 300 to 400 calories in a 45-minute walk. And what's cool about that is that it doesn't have it puts no stress on your muscles, so you can, you know, finish your day off. Let's say after dinner, what I would do is after dinner I would have dinner, and then I would just go for a walk just to digest before I go to bed. It's something you probably should be doing anyways. Like even if you're not doing 75 hard, just go for a walk after you have dinner. So that's what I would do. Yeah, I would go to the gym in the morning, and then I would do some sort of cardio in the evening, whether that was, for me personally, I would do biking, walking, running. Sometimes I would do like a fitness class, hiking, or tennis. yeah, find what works best for you. But for me, I grew up playing tennis, and I also, on the weekends, I'm part of a Sunday soccer league, so I would do that as my workout. But yeah, really make it your own. Like, I know some people like to go surfing. I'm in LA, some people like to go surfing. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do, but yeah, so find what works best for you. What I will say about 75 hard is there's gonna be moments where, since you're pretty much isolating yourself because you're not really gonna be going out. It's not like you're going to bars and stuff because you're not gonna be drinking. So there's points where you're probably gonna get a little bit lonely. I definitely got a little bit lonely when I was doing it. So what I suggest is on those, when you're doing those 45-minute walks, like, be productive, and instead of listening to music, I mean, if music works for you, then just do that, but you can, you know, call your family or friends or listen to a podcast. I listened to the podcast How I Built This throughout the whole time, and it's just a really good, like, entrepreneurial podcast on how companies get started. Definitely recommend that one. That's a great, like, it's like an inspiring, like, podcast to listen to if, you know, if you have goals outside of work. But yeah, so for the second task, that's going to be the progress photo. So I would say the progress photo, it's so important because it's like an accountability mirror. If you've ever read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, he always talks about the accountability mirror. Basically, so for the daily photo, first thing when you wake up in the morning is you go right to your bathroom mirror and just take a photo shirtless. Just make sure you're doing the same position, same angle. Most people will do like a relaxed, or you could do flexed, but I would recommend do the same thing out throughout the whole thing. Just, it's good for you so you can actually track your progress. Really the main thing with the daily photos is that you're doing it in the same mirror. It just looks way better when you go through the before and after and going through all the photos, that you have like the same setup, the same angle. So yeah, just make sure it's consistent with the photos. One last thing about the photos. So I would always do it in the morning before I have any breakfast. So you're kind of looking lean. I think that's what most people do that I saw on 75 hard videos that I've watched over the years, but you know, whatever works best for you. Next one is 10 pages of a non-fiction book. So that is not Harry Potter. That is, sorry, camera light was dying, but I think it looks way better now. Okay, cool, where was I? Right, yeah, so for the books. So for the next task is the 10 pages of a non-fiction book. So for the non-fiction book, what I would recommend doing is, if you're not like the biggest reader like myself, I wanted to do something that was like the easiest way to ease into having to read every day. So the first thing I would recommend is reading an autobiography by someone that you like look up to, or like an athlete. I grew up playing tennis, so I got the autobiography called Open, and it's, I'll put it right here. I should have it over my face. This is Andre Agassi's autobiography. Fantastic book. Whether you're into tennis or not, this is a sick book, so I definitely recommend it. But yeah, definitely do an autobiography with someone that you like look up to, or like, yeah, that's definitely the best way to go about it for your first book, just because you can ease into reading and it makes it not miserable. I started with, the first time I did 75 hard, I did it with like a brutal self-help book that like was so boring, and it made me, that was another reason why I didn't complete it, because the first time, because it was so boring. So just make sure you make it enjoyable. Autobiography for the first book. Alright, second book. This is, you've probably heard of it. It's probably the most popular self-help book that you can get. It's called, I don't know if you could see that. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I've read multiple self-help books. This is by far the best one that I've read. It's also the easiest one to read. It's like super big text. There's like, I'm pretty sure there's like drawings in it too. But the way he explains stuff is just, it's really like easily, like, I guess, digestible. The whole premise of this book is how small incremental changes lead to like, they create like a big impact. Reducing friction is like a big thing with this one. It's like one of the big chapters. You're more likely to run in the morning if you lay out your running shoes, your running socks, shorts, and your running shirt the night before, so that like it's just sitting there ready by the door, so it's easy for you to just go for a run because everything's already there. It's not like, oh, I have to dig through my closet to get everything. So anyways, this is a very good book. It's almost necessary, I would say. It's almost like this book was created for 75 hard. Yeah, if there's one book that I recommend that you read during 75 hard, it's this one, like 1000%. Yep. And then the third book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Personally, I don't recommend this book. I thought it was kind of boring. I mean, if you're into real estate, this is a good book for you. I'm not into real estate at all. Yeah, I would you'll find something that you like. There's a ton of books out there. Just make it enjoyable. You know, that's really the biggest thing. And if you're like me and you don't like to read that much, what I would recommend to you is do the thing that you hate the most first in the day so you get it out of the way. So personally, I already had an issue with being on my phone too much. When I would wake up in the morning, I would always roll out of bed, check social media, just starting your day off, just like looking at all that stuff. So I tried to not look at my phone for the first hour while I would wake up in the morning. So instead of doing that, what I would do is regimen was I would wake up, have coffee, have water, and then I would just sit and read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. I wish I had it here now. I had to get rid of it. I had a cold plunge right where I'm sitting. I'm gonna put a video right here of what it looked like. That was like so unhinged to do, but I miss it so much. But at the end of the day, I knew it was such a liability to have, so I had to kick it out of the apartment. But that was sick. If you have a cold plunge, start your day off like that. Couldn't recommend that more. Yeah, damn, I missed that. I can't wait till I have a house and I can just get like a sick cold plunge. Alright, anyways, moving on. So, now we've done the books. Okay, next one is drinking a gallon of water. Sounds simple, it's not. I'd say this is the one that trips everyone up the most because it can be really tricky. So, the biggest thing that you have to keep in mind with drinking a gallon of water a day is that if you wait too late in the day to finish your water, you're gonna ruin your sleep that night because you're gonna be waking up every hour to use the bathroom. So what I recommend is drink as much water as you can when you start off the morning. I know it's hard, it sucks. I did this while I was doing a 9 to 5 in office, so I had to go and use the bathroom. It's annoying, but it's way better to do in the morning, get it out of the way, than to push it off. If it's 6 or 7 p.m. and you still have a lot of water to drink, like get it done soon, because yeah, you don't want to wait too long. That's like the biggest thing. And then also too, for the gallon, you're gonna see most people out there have get these half-gallon jugs from Amazon, or like a gallon jug, just to help you track your water. Teach their own. I tried doing the half-gallon and it worked for a little bit, and then I realized how much I hate not having a water bottle that fits in my car cup holder. Like for me, that's such a big deal. So this is what I use. Let me see. Alright. I don't know if you can see this. This is the Camelback. It's like a 20 fluid ounce, so it doesn't have like crazy amount of water, but I just know I have to drink, let's see, 100 to 120 divided by 20. Alright, so I have to drink 6 of these a day to make sure that I'm hitting a gallon. So yeah, first thing in the morning when I'm reading, I try to make sure I finish one of the 6 just as I'm doing those 10 pages of reading. So, you know, whatever works best for you, but I think overall, these just kind of work the best. I hate having something that's so big that I have to lug around, but if it works for you, it works for you. 2 tips: find a good water bottle and drink your water early. Those are the 2 biggest tips. The next task is follow a diet. So for the diet, this is up to you. You decide your own diet. What I recommend is, and if it's your first time doing really dieting, actually dieting, don't go too hard. So don't restrict yourself too much. That's the biggest thing. Because if you restrict yourself too much, you'll be 2 weeks into just having chicken breast and broccoli, and then after that you're gonna be so tired of it that you're just gonna want to have junk food, and you're gonna relapse basically. So don't make it too strenuous for yourself. Don't make it miserable. You can make healthy food taste good. There's so many recipes online. Just have fun with it. Learn how to cook too. I didn't really fully know how to cook before this, but you're not really gonna be eating out as much because you want to stay more healthy, which is good. We should all learn how to cook a little bit, and honestly, you're gonna save a lot of money. Just by you cooking more, you're gonna save a ton of money during this. You're also gonna save a ton of money because you're not going to the bars drinking. So Just know that. That's another great plus about 75 hard. Okay, so you choose your own diet, right? So what I recommend is before you start 75 hard, write down on a piece of paper do's and don'ts of what you can have to eat. This way, it's not a gray area. You know whether you cross the line of things that you can eat and you can't eat. You know, just whatever it is, doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you stick to it. That's the biggest tip of the diet. Yeah, just make it enjoyable, not too strenuous, and write down exactly what you can and cannot have ahead of time so there's no gray area. When you're in that accountability mirror doing that progress photo, you know whether you cheated on it or not. So that's like the whole thing. The final task is just no cheat meals and no alcohol. So kind of goes into exactly what I was just saying, no cheat meals. Write down what is a cheat meal for you. Be like, this is a cheat meal, pizza's a cheat meal, pasta's a cheat meal. To be honest, I cut out bread entirely. I said bread was like a cheat meal. What else did I cut out? Dude, just like anything that's like good, like cookies, brownies, and then lastly, no alcohol. Not drinking alcohol, like from a social aspect, this is what makes it really difficult, because like there's always, like, you know, people you work with, like maybe it's your coworkers, like it's their birthday, they're going out, like, oh, an open table. I swear, like there's always like birthdays and stuff going on, and like I just personally, like, you know, you want to be nice, but like at the same time, I cannot be bothered to go to a bar sober. It's just not fun whatsoever to me. Of course, it's like someone's birthday that I care about, obviously gonna go to that, but like for the most part, I pretty much isolated myself. I was smart about it, and I didn't put myself in situations where I knew that I would potentially be drinking or having like a cheat meal. So that also includes not going on many dates. So I didn't do any dating at all for the 3 months. Like I was just going like 0 dark 30 basically. You have a lot of like alone time, is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, you're gonna be kind of lonely. So that's what I'm saying, when you're doing those workouts, when you're doing that outdoor workout, if you're just going for a walk, like call someone, call your friend. It makes it just way more enjoyable. So that is all the tasks. Now I'm gonna get into the pro tips. The most important pro tip that I would recommend is make sure that you invest in a fitness tracker, whether it's a Apple Watch, Fitbit, or Whoop. I use the Whoop. Personally, I love it. I've been using the Whoop for 3 years now. The Whoop's cool just because it shows you your like recovery. So it'll show you how hard you went the day before. So it lets you know to not go so hard the next day. Because the biggest thing with 75 hard is you have to avoid getting sick at all costs. So your sleep is so important and your recovery is so important. If you don't have any sort of like fitness tracker, you're pretty much like blind going into this whole thing. So it's basically like a leg up. It just makes everything more enjoyable. Like your workouts, you can track them on a tracking app. You can time them so you can make sure you get the full 45-minute workout, like calories, steps, resting heart rate, all that stuff. It just like makes it more fun, basically. So yeah, definitely invest in some sort of like fitness tracker. I do have a free month if you want to try Whoop. I personally love it, but I have a free month. I can link it below for Whoop. The reason why I chose Whoop over like an Apple Watch is I just don't want like a screen on my wrist. I want something that's just like feels like a bracelet. So that's why I went with the Whoop. I'm sure Fitbit's pretty good too. I don't know. I just all the people I know that like are actually into fitness, they use Whoop. So that's why I got the Whoop. I don't know. I've been loving it so far. So yeah, tip number 1, make sure you invest in a tracking watch. Pro tip number 2 is download the mobile app. I don't see why you wouldn't invest $5 in the app. It literally lays out, it's like a checklist, but what's cool about the 75 Hard app is you take the photos and it just saves them within the app too. So it's like really good for organization. It structures your shirtless selfie photos, so you don't have to have 75 shirtless selfie photos in your camera roll on your phone. It's just like, it's nice and clean. It's like a nice little checklist. It's very satisfying to check them off. And also on the app, you can set reminders within the app. So it'd be like, oh hey, it's 6 p.m. and you haven't done your 10 pages of reading yet. Make sure you do that before the end of the day, or else you have to start back from 0. It just helps you so you don't forget stuff. It's only $5. I don't know why people don't get it. When I was doing 75 Hard, one of my coworkers, he didn't get the app, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll just like remember, like I'll just write it down. He was a month in and he failed. So I don't know, I just feel like if you spend the money, you spend the $5 on the app, you're invested already. Yeah, definitely download the app, so important. So that's definitely pro tip number 2. Pro tip number 3, try to do 75 Hard with someone else. Like, holding each other accountable is so important. Like if you have like a gym buddy that you go to the gym with, or if you have a coworker. Like when I was doing it, I had a couple coworkers that were doing it at the same time as me, which made it a little bit nicer. Because anyone who works a 9 to 5, you know that it's like, man, at the second it's like Emily's birthday, they bring out cake. It's like, I don't want to be like this, like, I don't want to be rude and like, yeah, I don't want cake, but like how many damn birthdays are we gonna have? Like I have 3 birthdays a month in my office. So yeah, that was annoying, just like saying no and like can't have it. Like it's just like awkward. It's kind of annoying. So anyways, yeah, so if you can do 75 hard with someone, if you have like friends in your area that do it, even if they're not like in your town, if you have friends like across the country, it's just cool to do it with someone that you know, hold each other accountable. You're just way less likely to fail. So that's definitely the last pro tip. Other small tips are make sure you have a water bottle that you like using. For the books, do an autobiography. It makes it way easier when you start. Do the hardest thing first. So if reading is going to be a struggle for you, just get that done first thing in the morning so you don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. Yeah, these are all so important, and I wish I knew all these things the first time I started. At the end of the day, don't overcomplicate it. You have 6 tasks, get them done, and then you're just on to the next day. And over time, you're gonna feel so good. Like a month in, 2 months in, you're gonna be like, wow, I feel like this is like a superpower. Like you're telling me people like live like this like all the time. And then you realize that like, oh wait, the most successful people do live like this all the time. Like all the CEOs, like they're not out there like drinking every weekend. Like they're actually like working on like goals and stuff, and they're doing stuff like this for sure. Like it definitely builds self-discipline. So enjoy it. Let me know if you have any questions. Just comment below if you have any questions. I want to help as much as possible. I myself, at the time that I'm recording this, today is December 20th. I'm starting up for my 3rd time. So if you guys want to do it with me, I'm going to start 75 hard up first week in January. And yeah, we're going to see how it goes. Let's have a good 2025. Let's focus on our goals, and you got this. Let's go.